What is up? It's your boy Wolf Hogan of the Wolf Hogan Show podcast, the greatest podcast on earth to fall asleep to. Today we're doing the segment again called 9 Questions, where I interview black creatives in the city and just find out what makes them tick and find out what their inspirations are. Now today we have a special guest. We got 2 guests, but our special guest today is Mr. Julian Van Dyke, the actor, director, writer, what else? Singer,
yeah.
Performer,
yeah.
Mr. Julian Van Dyke.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yay. Thank you, Wolf, my brother. Thank you so much.
So, what were we talking about before? We had a technical issue like 5 seconds ago. What were we talking about before? We were talking about you guys have gone to see James and the Giant Peach, which your son is, what is
Ellison.
The lighting?
Ellison is doing the lighting for James and the Giant Peach, but I've also tapped him to direct the upcoming play that we are involved in.
Oh, he's directing.
He wrote it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He wrote the screen
The adaptation
from the book.
Oh my God.
Children's book, along with his mother, Janelle Hall, who we have.
That is amazing.
I didn't write it. I just critiqued it.
Hey, Janelle is all that. And I'm so glad to have her as my art sister in residence, because I'm learning a lot of things. I wasn't stupid when I'm tapping people to help me, because she's giving me directions. She'll be like, have you ever been in a musical? Well,
Don't do me like that.
No. This is all love. She's like, but I expect this from my mom. Like, your mother is supposed to question you. You might have inspiration, but these are the things that I look forward. Critique me, because I'm not, like I'm asking you, like, hey, Wolf, I need this for a technical microphone, that kind of stuff. So it's good to have in my family that are part of me to help me to push my art.
Absolutely. You know what? We talked about this in the dressing room for, what was it, Exonerated. I was like, oh yeah, I do a little bit of art every now and then or whatever. And I was like, I haven't done it in a long time. It's not really that good. You were like, it doesn't matter if it's that good or not.
Right.
Continue to do it. And I wrote a little children's book about a little boy named after Martin Luther King, but I want to illustrate it. But every time I go to do it, it just doesn't turn out right. But maybe that's what makes it more unique.
I tell you, that's so many overlapping stories. One, I went down to Atlanta for the first time, and I went to the Martin Luther King Center, and this was a great person that is from Lansing, Michigan, Marshonda Dixon. Her mother had a birthday last weekend. I met her, and she's like the tour guide of that neighborhood, Martin Luther King Center. She takes you to the center, but she takes you up and down the street of all the people and families that helped Martin Luther King to the point where he was. And I told her, like, you know what? You did a performance. You need an agent. And let us get together I want to write a children's book about what you've given, what I've seen, what you've given to us, information today of what you've done. So I am going to be doing something with her about illustrating a book about Martin Luther King and all that, because now it's so important of the things that we're experiencing today. And I always, people are like, why do you write children's books? Well, if I can get to them at this point down here, by the time they get up here, we won't have the confusion that we're having today.
Exactly. It's like, if you give them the information in a form that they can digest at that age.
Yeah.
It's like, they won't be as confused. We got so much misinformation on the internet,
Amen.
You know what kind of information I like? Funny story, weaving this all together. The last time I was here talking with you, I don't know what I thought it was, but I got dressed up And this time I'm like, oh, we're not recording. I'm just going to run out.
Oh, no, you're good.
So I've got on my Spellman shirt and Auburn Avenue. The Auburn Avenue
Right.
was like the black Wall Street of Metro Atlanta during that time.
Right.
That's where King grew up.
Mhm.
And at my beloved alma mater, I had the privilege of one of my professors being Dr. Christine King Ferris.
Oh, wow.
She was Martin Luther King's eldest sister.
Oh, wow.
And so we were like, we definitely going to take her class. So when you continue your Martin Luther King education and when you, Wolf, write this book, I have been equipped, like an evil genius, with all of these firsthand accounts of what Martin Luther King Jr. was like, not as this great civil rights leader, orator, and this profound, icon in history, but as a booger-eating little brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like who he was as a teenager and as a young man, and in what ways he got on his big sister Christine's nerves. And I mean, like, it was just delightful to get the untold story. And I think that that's what kind of like bonds us as artists and creatives to say, I wonder what is behind, the veil.
It's like, we always just see Martin Luther King as this larger than life icon.
Yep.
We don't see him as a person that put his pants on one leg at a time, just like us.
Right.
Correct.
That's what it was. And that's what he was supported by the neighborhood. They were redoing his house at the particular time, but the other people, I mean, he could have went like this way, and we wouldn't be recognizing him as we do today.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the straight path. My whole thing, his wife, man, she doesn't get the limelight, like he does. She is, and was, and still is just as powerful as he was, but just didn't get the limelight. I'm telling you.
Very powerful woman. Just to be the support for her husband going through I couldn't even imagine going through what he went through. Absolutely amazing. Now, these questions, you got a chance to look over the questions, so you're prepared for what? Now, I didn't ask you. I should have asked you if you wanted to focus on, your acting side, your artistic side, but you can answer these questions from any point of view that you want.
It's all good. It's all the same.
Okay. So, starting off, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm originally from Benton Harbor, Michigan. I'm going back to Benton Harbor. Benton Harbor was great at one time, the automotive industry, but it's basically they had water problems like Flint. So it's on the this is coming back up. It's Whirlpool is down there. I worked from Whirlpool before I came to Lansing, Michigan. But I got the art interest from my mother, who was a former elementary teacher. My dad and my mom originally from Trenton, Tennessee, down to that part, and they moved to Michigan, during that time when the automotive industry was kicking, and she raised 4 children. My brothers and sisters, they're all passed away. Everybody in my family are dead. My grandparents, my aunts, and my brothers and sisters, they're all gone. So you guys are my brothers and sisters. So
that's good.
There you go.
Thank you, man.
But my mom, I had an older brother and sister. We went to a predominantly white school growing up. We wouldn't face the harsh things that were happening during those times, but I was the third sibling brought up. So she spent time playing with me. And I think I got my acting bug. She was pretending to be someone else. And I took that up on. As far as drawing, what was on the tube at that time was like Mighty Mouse and Captain Kangaroo. You guys are young kids right now. But Walt Disney, this past trip when I went to Atlanta, I also went to Orlando, Walt Disney. And my mom, before she passed away, she bought me this big Walt Disney book. So I used to draw all the time. I was the young class artist growing up, because I was always drawing everything on my test papers and all like that. I really didn't get seriously interested into art until they took us to Chicago. Chicago was closest to Benton Harbor. It's like 90 miles. So the Chicago Institute of Arts. And I'm like, wow, these are paintings that you only see in books.
Yeah.
So I started painting, and I didn't know artists got paid. My art teacher, like, hey, people, if you go to Kendall or you go to Notre Dame, like, yeah, a lot of people don't go to those schools, Mr. Cussy. But I started doing that type of stuff, and I started drawing. And, we get, looking at the prominence of cartoonists, whether it be Charlie Brown, well, I want to be a cartoon, or I want to make, Marvel comics. So I started doing that. But then coming to Lansing, I started broadening the ideas and perspective of meeting other people that did the same. So started doing that. And my mom had read stories, many stories. In that school, stories were read to us. So I always had pictures of illustrations in my mind when there wasn't any pictures to be seen from the story. So I made my own ideas of images from the story, whether it be Huckleberry Finn, that kind of stuff, right? But I always adapted that kind of direction from drawing like that, telling stories. And so growing up, as far as music, we had a piano. All my brothers and sisters, they were talented. My sister, she played flute and played piano. My brother, he was just a marketing guy. He owned property before he died. But we were all given gifts, that type of thing. So when it came to writing books, it was easy for me to write stories that I came up with. One of the books I have is The Music We Call Jazz.
Okay.
Because when growing up, my parents, that's what they had friends. That's all they played was jazz and Duke Ellington and all that kind of stuff. And I was in tune with that growing up. And then I started liking what was contemporary, whether it be Earth, Wind, and Fire, that kind of stuff.
Wow. It's just such a rich history that just, it comes out in your art as well,
Thank you, my brother, yeah.
All of these life experiences just come together, and it just is expressed in your art and your acting as well.
Thank you.
I saw a different side of you, because we were in Fabulation, and, the character that I played, I didn't really get a chance to, build that character that much, and I really enjoyed, your character as the father, your character as the FBI agent, but I didn't really get to see, that side of you until we did Exonerated. And I just saw like a more like, poetic cadence when you were doing your,
I can say the same thing about this gentleman right here. Now I'm going to tell you the truth. Now, we do other things, and we're sitting in the theater last night, you and I, right? And a lot of people came to, hey, man, I see you. Acting is a gift given, but I'd never, I always tell young actors, there's some fabulous young Jordan, he's one of them, the young Vanessa, who directed us in Exonerated, right? And I tell them, like, hey, get out of Lansing.
Right.
She's from New York, but I say, go to New York, start auditioning. You guys should, Quinn, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, get out of Lansing and explore. Even your son. Hey, don't be afraid to go further. Take auditions in these large cities to expound and let other people see your expressions, because you got gifts, young people.
Absolutely.
I'm old. Okay, I'm not. And when it comes to acting, I always thought of like, hey man, if you've been around people long enough, you study people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what acting is to me. But I think I got the most applause from any other gifts that I've been given is acting.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, actually, I think we already, touched on this. The next question was what was it that drew you to the arts? Acting in particular. You could say acting, art, writing. And was it those life experiences that sort of?
It is. I mean, I can tell you, look, people, I'm the old person, and I'm older than these are two talented young people. But all of that, and it's to the point where I'm seriously, you always take a break from doing whatever. And I know, like, there's like, I know in my heart, I want to accomplish certain things. And this year, it's coming to fruition. The Exonerated, I think we're up for some awards for Exonerated. You know that. We're up for Exonerated.
We are?
Yeah, and then I talked, this is a secret. Al came to me like we have a format, it's almost like the Academy Awards or Tonys where awards are given. I don't know if you've been approached by Al, but he's going to use you and
yeah, he talked about us doing that.
Doing a little bit. Scene. Yeah, a little scene. And I think there's a lot of that went into that conversation. One, I appreciate Al Greenberg for approaching us to do that. Number two, we belong to Black Bridges.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. And I think there has to be more acceptance from the theaters, whether it be Riverwalk or any other theater, of us, all right? Whether it be writing or acting. And I think they're trying to open the door a little bit in that situation. But I appreciate Al for, he approached me first like, hey, I got this one script I want you to read for Exoneration. So I think, and I sit on the board, right? And I like, okay, you guys are putting this in, but what about us? So it's a two-way condition. I get it. I wish and I hope that there's more representation from us. And I'm glad that Jordan Tay has taken the mantle to do and push us in that direction, Black Bridges, of getting more actors and actresses, writers, to write their stories and do that. So
yeah.
Kudos to you on Black Bridges. We didn't get a chance to give you your well-deserved flowers.
Yeah,
this guy, he shot it, man.
But, it was just like when Jordan was talking about, he actually presented the idea to me when he did the 9 Questions episode on this podcast. And it sounded different in my mind, but when we actually sat down with you guys and everybody else, and I was like, wow, like, listening to the similarities of everyone's story, listening to the differences of everyone's story. Everyone had been in different institutions. Everyone had been a part of different casts, and some in the same city, some in different cities. It was just like, wow, this is everywhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's underrepresentation. Ubuntu, yeah.
Ubuntu. I am because we are.
I am because we are. You actually presented Ubuntu during Fabulation. We did that exercise, the voice exercise. Yeah. That was amazing.
That was powerful, man. That's powerful, dog.
Now, actually, this question kind of ties into what we were just talking about. Now, when it comes to the history of Black people in film, theater, art, writing, whatever, we haven't always seen ourselves represented in the most positive light. How do you feel that has changed in recent years, if at all?
You know what? You just answered, like, I answered the questions well before.
Right.
Or maybe I talked too much. I don't know. But like I said previously, if it's not there, then create it. Don't depend on things that have been done and the door is not open for you. That doesn't mean that you don't have the ability to create something yourself and get and connect with other people that are like you, like-minded, to push that. Because we didn't get here by ourselves. We didn't get to this point. I think if you were doing a podcast back in the 40s, they'd be knocking at the door like, let's go strain this, brother.
Right.
Don't you dare put this up.
How dare you read?
How dare you read? Who taught you to read? Like people like Paul Robeson and, the other fine actors that we don't recognize that were before us, the hard struggle for them to get to that point. Now we live in a day that we have the freedom, and I can be political at some point. I won't. But the ones I always recognize, the ones that were before us, whether it was our parents, our aunts and uncles, that pushed us to be artists that we are today.
Oh, yeah.
And I just hope that the ones that are after us keep that in mind. If it's not there, if you don't see the door opening, if they won't let you in, create something yourself. Because what I see from acting or music or dancing, they copied from our culture. Like, oh, they just make it fashionable and polish it up. We started this, man. We're just getting the recognition. So
that's wild, man. It's like, you know, I get auditions and stuff, and I keep saying, man, like, why do these agents keep like pushing me for these certain types of roles and certain types of auditions? It's like, I wish I could, you know, because like I was saying to myself, like when doing theater in this town or whatever, I would always go out for certain roles, and I would always get these roles that just were not, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
The fabulation role was great because, you know, it helped, you know, push the story along and all that stuff. But it's like, I'm like, man, why am I getting these roles that are just not the ones that I, you know, want and things like that? And then I finally got, you know, the exonerate. But I'm like, why don't I just write the role?
Write it, man.
I mean, I got all the equipment. Why don't I just write the role and just make the project?
Yeah, you gotta do it yourself. I said before, like, I hope other people, our young people after me, just do it yourself. Once you start doing it, they'll start copying you. Like, well, who did this? Well, we've been doing it for a long time. We just haven't been given the chance to show what we have been given.
Yeah.
You know, so
Black people have always been the blueprint.
Absolutely.
always
The beginning of time, like quite literally, the oldest human bones were a Black woman
Absolutely.
in Africa named Lucy. So they've just been chasing our, you know, DNA and our style and culture and
Forever.
Forever.
You know, we have people. Miss Janice Hall. Do you know she's a teacher? Lord have mercy. She went to Spelman. This is one thing that I hate. Next time I go to Atlanta, and you know, most people are like, well, Atlanta is Chocolate City. I believe it now.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
But we didn't get a chance to go to Tyler Perry's studio. I didn't get a chance to go to Spelman, and what's the college right across the street?
Morehouse.
Morehouse.
The alma mater of Martin
I'm
Luther
like,
King.
man, I'm like, here we are, having a person that went to Spelman. My young Black sisters, you better go talk to this sister right here. We've been in the news. Morehouse, President Biden went there, and they were so scared that they were going to stand up and walk out. And I said, well, this is the thing, you know. We have, there's one side that has been supporting us and continues. We can always talk. We have two candidates. I hope not to get political, but one.
You already there. Go ahead.
Okay, one. I said, and I told my brothers and sisters down in Dearborn, right? I said, I will not hold my vote from the current president compared to someone who hates us, you know, our national, our genre, who hates us racially. You know, I can talk with someone who has the door open to talk to them. If you have the door open, you're able to talk to them. You're able to talk. He doesn't hate me. He doesn't hate or he's trying to put this false facade on about who we are. They've already calculated who they think who we are, whether selling golden shoes or T-shirts or that kind of stuff, or taking out a New York Times page ad and all pronouncing young Black men guilty. Okay, I've stopped.
One of the things that I'm going to give you a save here. One of the things that I do appreciate about my beautiful Morehouse brothers, there was a lot of consternation. It was a bit polarizing to have a sitting president come and be the commencement speaker. In one regard, it's a great honor.
Right.
And in the other regard, this is the alma mater of Martin Luther King that we were talking about before.
Yes.
And on the AUC campus, AUC, acronym for Atlanta University Center, largest consortium of Black colleges anywhere in the world. There's 4 of them, Spelman, Morehouse, Morris Brown, and Clark Atlanta University. Anyway, that was my shameless HBCU plug. But But it was polarizing. And so one of Spelman's mottos, monikers, things that we strive to live by is a choice to change the world.
Okay.
And so, and I you know what, I ain't go to Morehouse, so I don't remember theirs, but I know that they're like a light, a candle, a light in the darkness. There's a huge King statue right in front of King's Chapel. So Morehouse, the alma mater of Spike Lee, who used art and film and theater as a resistance. Samuel L. Jackson, who didn't give a cuss about what nobody else said. Some other notable, Morehouse men, they're not going to sit and not let their voice be heard.
That's right.
So the valedictorian and the senior class president, they was spitting straight facts in the commencement day mic.
That's right.
And they, through respectability politics and being a good docile Negro to the wind. And so I appreciate that. My class of 2001, shout out to Dr. Ruha Benjamin. I love her dearly. She spoke to the women of Spelman saying, Black faces in high places won't save us. So both of these institutions and others, although I happen to think mine is the best, have been political.
That's right.
And they've definitely rightly divided what is just, what is right, versus what is right now.
Right.
And I'll love them forever for that.
That's right.
Because we are indeed both a light in the darkness.
That's right.
And a choice to change the world respectively.
Right.
And we can do both of those things simultaneously, maintaining and keeping our Black card intact.
Okay. Heck yeah. Speaking of, this is a little tiny bit off topic, but while we were editing Black Bridges, I was sitting with Jordan or whatever, and we were editing one of your parts or whatever. And I was like, man, I would have loved to have Janelle as a teacher growing up. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I know, right? Me too.
Yeah.
I've been teaching since Jesus was in kindergarten. It feels like it. I might have been your teacher. Who knows? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, growing up in the schools that I went to, it's just, there was a certain demographic of teacher that I had, and they just didn't really, they brushed over, my history and people like me, our history, didn't really go into depth. And, it was just like an afterthought or whatever.
Yep.
And honestly, if I had a teacher like you, I would have actually, from a young age, I would have known like the importance of being who I am or being my true self, being Black, unapologetically Black and all that stuff. So yeah.
Oh, thanks. I'm learning to receive compliments. So thank you. I received
You're
it as a
welcome.
high compliment. And while we're already off topic, this has been a rough year for me teaching. I'm not going to get into all of that, but I compared that to, it's like the Army Corps of Engineers. It's the toughest job you'll ever love, where you got to teach until you're 100 to know if you've ever made a difference or an impact. You got to wait until your students, from 82 come back and visit you. Oh, there's Miss McGillicuddy. Like, good grief.
Yeah.
You got to wait until they're grown to come back and say, I want to dedicate this Academy Award or Abbott Elementary to, like, I'm hoping I live that long. Good googly moogly. But there are, Teacher Appreciation Week was, the first part of May. So former students have reached out. But a couple of years ago, actually, just before the pandemic or in the middle of the pandemic, one of my former middle school students reached out to me and said, hey, Miss Hall, you remember that girl that I used to have a crush on in your art class? And I was like, yes. Y'all couldn't keep your hands off of each other. Well, we got married and we've got 2 kids now.
Wow.
And, we're having our second girl. And I was telling her, we were just remarking on the impact that you made on our life. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet to hear. And he was like, I just want to know if it's okay if we name our baby after you.
Wow.
And I was like,
Oh my
say
gosh.
what? Yeah.
Were you did you you taught art too?
Yeah, I teach art now.
Okay, see, people, we don't have enough black teachers for one thing.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
But yeah, there's some baby, hi Pookie, that I have not met her because of, COVID. Janella Rose.
Wow.
Yes. And so I would have loved to been any kid of color or the white ones too, because research shows that having a black teacher impacts both black and white students in their view of the world and trajectory. We are way off topic.
Well,
anyway.
Let me ask you, now, Wolf, you mentioned, did you have any black instructors that kind of, or just, when you mentioned they just brushed you away? Or
so the only black teacher I had was in 8th grade, I believe. She was an English teacher. She was like real intense. But, she was intense, but I could tell she cared, you know what I'm saying, about like writing and things like that, because, she wouldn't let anything slide when it came to writing. I mean, I maybe that's why I write so much now. She wouldn't let anything slide. She wouldn't let grammar slide. I wrote one half of my story in one pen and another half in another pen, and she lost it. You know what I'm saying? So she was trying to teach me maybe consistency. But I only had one, but she really didn't instruct in the way of like anything historic or like history of black people or whatever. But that's the only black instructor I've ever had, I believe. In high school, even in high school, I didn't really have any black instructors at all. But we do need more black teachers.
Yeah, that tells the story, because I think it's good to tell stories. But when you start getting to the technical, the business part, editing, I've had, it doesn't matter what color, they want you to be on point. They're like, this is a suggestion to our young writers, like wishing to be published, make sure that your content is properly done. That means edited to get into the hands of the public, because you will get people like yourself, like, hey, this isn't spelled right, or this isn't written in a way that you want to write it. So I'll suggest to our young writers who wish to be published, and getting published nowadays, it's almost like the recording industry. There's no more big time record companies. They're all, they're people we're streaming everything, which is cool. But don't think that you're the only talented person trying to submit their work to be published. And I can tell you firsthand that, and there's a lot of companies that are scamming you. They give you promises of getting you being seen in big time publications, whether it be in New York Times or whatever, and writing reviews. Reviews are important. I talked with this one person recently. She said, "How many reviews you got? You got any reviews? How many? You have a following?" So I'm gonna do like Jay-Z. I don't care if you. I got kind of irritated, like reviews and how much following. So I sent her an image of Donald Glover. I met Donald Glover.
Oh, yeah.
He bought a lot of my. He's on tour. He's going to come to Detroit.
Yeah.
So I sent that to her. I said, "Well, he's bought a lot of my stuff, and I got images of Gretchen Whitmer in front of my Juneteenth book. Is this enough?" Like that.
Wow.
So the whole thing of trying to sell yourself and trying to sign a big contract with big time publishing companies are primarily gone, and I get it. But also to take the attitude like Jay-Z, if you don't play in my stuff, well, guess what? I'm gonna find a way to sell my stuff and be successful. So Beyonce and Jay-Z has the expensive house in California, New York, so he's done quite well for himself of doing that way. So in that vein, I always tell people, like, if you don't agree of how they are selling your stuff, create something, do it yourself, because they're just trying to scam you nowadays.
Dude, it's funny you say, having things properly formatted, things spelled correctly, and all this stuff. Firsthand, the experience that I had with that was writing screenplays. I've never written a play script. I've only written a script for the screen.
Right.
So writing scripts or whatever, it has to be in a certain format, or they just won't read
They
it.
won't accept it. You know what?
They
And
won't
another
even-
thing is that if you're independently publishing like I am, you have to pay for those things. You have to pay for editing. If you want to have it illustrated, I illustrate all my material. But the business side, it just depends on how much money you want to throw into the pot. I'm looking, you first look for an agent, a literary agent. You're going to pay just like actors do.
Yeah.
You pay for a good agent to represent you.
Get what you pay for.
Right, you get what you pay for. And you hope that they'll be the ones that market your stuff in the right directions that you're going to make a profit. Okay? And that's the thing. I'm getting deluged by, I don't answer my phone at home because these publishing companies, they want you to help them market your material. I'm like, I had it out with them, like, you got these young writers that are broke. Some may be broke, but they're working 2 or 3 jobs, so they submit their material to you. They want you to help them push it.
Being exploited?
Right, they've been exploited. You go on Google, they've even sent false documents, like, we're going to get your material in front of Max. What's the big publishing house in England?
Oh,
is it Maximilian or something like that?
I forget.
Macmillan.
They've signed their name. So I sent this copy to them, like, we have no person like that in our company.
Wow.
I
That's
kept
a shame. I mean, nowadays it's the age of the internet, it's just, you don't know what you're being sold.
Mm-hmm.
But
those are the days, my friend.
Okay, so this is this question.
We're on number 3, aren't we?
No.
We're at 4.
We're on number 4.
Oh, okay, good.
Honestly, what we're talking about,
We've already answered. We're talking about
I always enjoy our conversations. This is what our conversations are like in
this
person.
is so much fun.
All
Backstage.
day, baby, all day.
So, you're getting a sneak peek as to what goes on backstage when we're in productions together. Now, who are some of your favorite actors, and how has their work influenced the way you approach a scene or a project?
Man, I always go into the archive, whether it be Sydney or, there wasn't a lot of us that were representing those days. Even the one producer, you got to go to Turner Broadcast. They showed all movies, and they showed movies from this one black director who made movies of black people. I forgot his name. Forgive me. So you always do your history of the ones that were before us who were in acting, right? Sidney was great to me, Sidney Poitier and all those people. But here's one of them. Vanessa's one of them. You are one of them. I told Vanessa,
thank you.
When we did, and I wasn't, Rose is a great writer.
Oh, yeah.
She's a poet. Norland, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Very creative.
Poet, man. So, and I told her, I said, I'm not blowing any smoke up your rear end, because when she done Fabulation, she was on point and she knew her material before everyone else.
Right.
So when I did Exonerated, guess what? I'm sitting down in Houston, and I'm sitting at a restaurant. I'm memorizing. I put everything on my phone, so I'm going over my lines in the restaurant in Houston. So my niece said, "Uncle Julian, are you okay?" No, I'm just preparing. I want to be on point like Vanessa, and Al and Vanessa told me, the reason that they got me to do this because you were ahead of the other actors reading. I was Delbert Tibbs way before we started.
Yeah,
man, that was so. So I always tell people it doesn't necessarily have to be the ones that were before us, but I think it's important because they fought hard to be shown during that time so we can see them. But always acknowledge the young ones that are currently and contemporary with us. You got some great, gifts that you guys exploit on the stage, and whether you carry this on, your little part. I was always behind you in Fabulation. You did several parts, okay, but each part that you did was like, man, we need to get out of here because we're explosive. You came in, you're able to change up. Even the little part that I did, I was able to adapt and change up, but roles like that, I applaud you guys. So you're some of my favorite actors and actresses. So
thank you. That is amazing because every time we ask questions like, who are your favorite actors? Who inspires you? We always think of the ones who are like larger than life.
Right.
We don't ever think of the ones who are right there with us in the trenches, show night, every single night for however long the play runs.
Right, man.
And those are the ones we should be really, taking our hat off to because they're right there with us.
Right.
They're the ones we got to put our trust in.
We have to put in, man. Like, if not for you, who?
Right? Exactly.
So it's so easy. I mean, I can go back, whether it was Dorothy Dandridge. These people fought hard.
Man.
Even the woman who was in Gone with the Wind, who we kind of like.
Hattie McDaniel.
We kind of like, we don't want to be shown in that light.
No, she was the first Academy Award.
Oh my God! But the fucked up part is like they didn't even let her be on the stage. She had to give her speech from the kitchen, and they wrote that shit.
Lord have mercy.
Did it proudly,
right?
These
people like we grew up. This is the thing, and we've been doing that. Even the ones that were before us, when we get to this time, their accomplishment that they did before us, we kind of like. We don't want to be like that. Whether it be the cream of wheat guy or Aunt Jemima, I like these people. Fought hard to be seen, and they would get money. They had to feed their families. They weren't given big contracts to do whatever. So I applaud them. And for us to throw shame on them is kind of stupid. But we should acknowledge them in whatever role they did. Whether it be step and fetch it, you can have a conversation. I like Blackness, how they approached it from both sides. He kind of. We didn't want to be in the light of him representing us because I get that. Okay, but you can also think like his brother, he fed and started other groups. Yeah. Okay. So he doesn't get that acknowledgement like that. So I think of like that. But now we're in the day and age that we kind of have the freedom to do what we do, Oh, yeah. But it was the ones that were before us that worked so diligently to allow us to do our gifts as we do today.
Absolutely. Yeah, like what you were saying, it's like I was thinking about this because occasionally I go on those deep dives on YouTube. I was looking up, black exploitation type media. And even before that, like minstrel show type stuff, just things that black people were forced to do or only had the opportunity to do. And I was like, it's not like they wanted to do that particular thing or will represent, their people in that light. It's like they got to eat.
We got to eat. We got to eat, man.
And, maybe in their mind, they're like, you know what, if I do this now, in this money I make, I'll make it better for people.
That's what their thought was.
So do you think that they have made it better? I mean, because this has been like, cocktails and conversation on my dinner groups. You mentioned going to Atlanta and Tyler Perry. And in this Black feminism and film class, we talked about these tropes of Black women and how you went political. So this is my theatrical critique. I respect Tyler Perry. I watched his documentary that took a little bit of my animus from how I felt about him.
Yeah.
But
I understand. Not really too
But I think that, when you were talking about us standing on the shoulders of giants, and they started from the bottom, now we're here. You had to go from Hattie McDaniel giving her acceptance speech in the kitchen to there's a part and a place and a role and the paving of the way that Step and Fetch. There's actors like Flip Wilson that put on drag and did these drag characters. And there's this larger discussion of the emasculation of Black men, all of that.
Cat Williams, all the people like, oh man.
Right. Cat Williams, absolutely. He got behind the mic, sat on somebody's couch, and eviscerated us all. But have we evolved or put those things away? And in the case of Tyler Perry, it's arguable to say, no, we haven't. It's just now a different way. There's still the Sapphire, the Jezebel,
So it's like, are you saying like, did Tyler, since, even though it's like modern day, I mean, to the people in the time, it was always modern day to them. But since we're in modern day, are you saying like, has Tyler Perry used these like played out tropes or whatever to get to a point where he can own an entire studio and do what he wants to do?
Yeah.
Or even though he has an entire studio to do what he wants to do, he still continues to, put out the same type of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, Black people are not a monolith.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate all stories being told. I'm not going to, I ain't gonna steal your shine. However, when you do have the platform and the resources and the advancement in this pinnacle of Black excellence to employ people, to own these studios, to really be the embodiment of FUBU for us, by us, we gonna get it, together. Many actors have said, oh, he's a great employer.
Oh, okay.
So it's not all bad. Go ahead and tell your Medea stories. Tell some more.
Right.
Tell a few others.
That's very interesting. It's like, yeah, it's tough to say because, the stories that I write, like I've got like some scripts in the work or whatever. And these scripts that I've written, all Black characters, Black stories, or stories, from the perspective of Black people, none of them have anything to do with like any of these stereotypical like movie things. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just from my perspective. It's like I have stories that I want to tell that have absolutely nothing to do with like drug dealing and gangbanging or any of that bullshit. It's just, but that's just from my perspective. So maybe certain people's perspectives
American
are
fiction?
limited.
You know what makes
American fiction,
I
man.
haven't seen that yet.
Oh man,
I know,
Jeffrey,
right?
hey,
That's what everybody says.
You go see American Fiction.
Yeah.
And you'll be saying
Jeffrey
what
Wright
you're
is
saying
my
right
favorite
now.
actor. He's my favorite actor.
That's exactly. I hope they stream. I ain't been streamed, but I went to see it. Like what you're saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was doing.
Damn. Okay.
And I like it because the character's name Ellison. That's my son's name.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: people have said these really kitschy one-liners and poetic, and it comes off as all profound and deep. When someone tells a story and they are Black, boom. It's a Black story. You're welcome. You ain't got to be no gangbanger. You don't have to be a baby mama. It doesn't have to be an ex-con. It doesn't have to be all of this Black stereotypical trauma. It doesn't have to be hood. You can buy a vowel and conjugate a verb. If the storyteller or the playwright or the actor is Black,
it is
boom,
a Black story.
there you go.
Hey.
Add water, add Blackness, stir. You got a Black story. That's it. That's it.
You're gonna like. Oh, I see what Julian's talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm not going to promote anymore, but the storyline was exactly what you just got through saying.
Okay.
And he kind of flipped like, okay, if you're going to pay me to... Anyway, okay, let's go on.
You'll enjoy American Fiction.
Okay. Yeah. Every time I say that, a couple more people have been like, "Oh, have you seen American Fiction?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get off my ass and do it.
I slept on it for a little bit too, so don't feel bad.
I mean, it was a crime that he didn't win the.
That's a crime too. Like he was up for it.
Yeah,
but that's how it is.
Now, wow. Actually, I'm gonna go to this question right here. It says, let's see here. Everyone has a story. We've seen many stories told on the screen or stage for decades. Are there any stories that you would like to see on the big screen one day?
Oh, man. But as artists, we, we have imaginative ideas and dreams and what they'd be accomplished or presented. So maybe yours. I have many stories, but whether it goes in that format, I think individually we are living our our film as we live it. Whether you be teaching, raising a family, you doing what you're doing, me doing what I'm doing, and maybe when we're dead, someone will pick up a pen like, "Well, this is what they did back here." So,
That's wild that you say that because I mean I don't mean to get off topic, but like there are these videos online of like from like 1901. You know what I'm saying? Like the first fucking cameras in existence or whatever, and it's like they just set it up, and you see townspeople like looking, and they have no idea that people in 2024 are watching them. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just going to work in the coal mines or whatever the fuck.
Right.
But it's like we have no idea, after we're gone or whatever. The internet is forever, apparently. So we have no idea where our media will go. We have no idea where your books will go, where your writings will go, where your teachings will go, who will be inspired. We have no idea.
Right. So. I'm not writing and doing this just to be remembered in history. And I'm pretty sure the ones that were before us didn't either. They're like, we're doing this to show the gift that has been given to us to feed our families. And whether we are written down in history, okay, but we'll be dead then. And good or bad, this is information age where everything will be found out about you. There's going to be written about you. So as far as trying to do something, we're doing it right now. We're right. Okay, we're doing a play. I'm trying to acknowledge her son. I had him on my lap for a Bud Not Buddy. He was talking like this. Who's this little kid, man? And he was just grinning like, I want to do this. I want to like that. And Ellison, watch out for Ellison Hall, y'all. That's all I got to say.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as me, I'm not doing it to be written down in history. And there's some things I like to write. And I've written some stuff that I'd like to adapt. I wrote stories like maybe this would be a good screenplay with this young African female. She's graduated from HBCU and she's still working 2 jobs, trying to help her family. Her brother is cool and he's on the clique, but she takes a job taking care of this older gentleman who's lost his wife, George Clooney. If you're out there, I'm writing this for you. George Clooney, they kind of like, he's older, but he's kind of fallen in for this young African-American educated female who's hardworking. So he disguises himself to look younger, to go out and meet with her. And then she kind of falls in love with him. And whether they, relationship, sexual or whatever, he dies.
Dang.
And that's the end of the play. And then, she's fallen in love with him, and he has fallen for her because he's lost his wife. He's rich. He's fighting the demons that she's fighting on the streets, the black men that don't give her respect, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then he tries to present himself as a younger person trying to hit on her. And they fall in love with each other, and then he just dies away. So
that's powerful.
Wow.
That's my play that I'm writing right now. But
heck yeah, man.
Wow.
Cast me in that as black guy number 2. I'll be
you were
just anything. I don't care what it is. I will walk.
You were in there, man.
Was that way? That was black guy. Wait, wasn't that was black guy 2 in what's it called? The Exonerated.
Yeah.
Other character.
Man, look, this guy. Well, hold up. No, let me say this. You change your diction, man. You're like, he's talking like a hillbilly, but we talk like that. We riding a horse and like that. This brother right here, he changed. Then he changed. He came out. Hey, you shot the
He's like,
guy,
oh,
right?
yeah, say what's up on you or whatever.
What's wrong with you? Like, there were so many things. Man,
Wolf is an
Hogan,
actor.
right.
He's an actor.
Hogan, he did 3 different.
It's funny because like the Black Guy 2 shit, like I made a joke about the Black Guy 2 to like Quinn or whatever, but it's like sort of the, remember Hollywood Shuffle?
Yeah.
It's like I wanted to have a play called Black Guy 2. Like just the story of this black guy who is the extra in the play leading up to like his big role or something like that.
Connor, look,
Praise for that.
I had to talk to both of them. Those some exquisite,
Oh my
talented
gosh,
young brothers. Both of them, especially Connor. Connor had a problem saying nigga, right?
Yeah.
I say, man, you're playing the part. We love each other, but you got to say it right. And Quinn, he's like, man, he said, no, don't, he said to play the part.
He's like,
Yeah, no. I said, hey, man, you and your brother have a problem of saying the N-word. You guys are some great actors, but just say it naturally as the part is given to you.
Yeah.
Right, Quinn and Connor.
But, I mean, that's reassuring, If you got a problem saying it, it's like it's probably not being used in. It's probably not a part of
their everyday vernacular.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when you're doing the part, you're about to shoot the guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying like, shoot him.
Shoot that motherfucker.
And then he's laughing. He's going, stop it, Julian. Stop it. I'm like, yeah, go on. Shoot him.
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah. You're
I
like,
said, shoot him, man.
Shoot that.
Shoot that white guy.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's see here. What's a good one? If you could go back in time to the day you caught the acting bug, what is a piece of advice that you would give your past self?
That's a good one. Jimenez. I wish that I had taken it more seriously, that I would take it further, but I really don't care. Because I always, like I said previously, like the gifts that have been given to us, that God has given to us, that one form of art, I never really anybody can act. It's just dirty. I mean, you have to know how to read. And when I go into schools, that's part of my, when I go into the bookstores, I'm scared of the Barnes & Noble. I'm pushing reading. We're making T-shirts, the need to read.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing you have to read. Read enough, go deep enough, get deeper into, if you're playing a character, go deeper to how they're feeling. You might say this line, but kind of go deeper, like present yourself like this is how they really felt when they said this line. But first and foremost, you got to learn how to read. But for me, catching an acting bug, I've always thought, as I do today, that if you study your fellow human beings, their characteristics, their emotions, and if you're going to be an actor, study them. How they talk, how they feel. They get mad, they get sad, and they get funny like that. And I just do it like that. But I've never, even though, like I said previously, it's a gift given, and I'm grateful when directors or someone, hey, read this.
What was your first role? When did you?
Bus Stop, and I looked. Bus Stop is a movie with Marilyn Monroe, and the director, there's no black guy in it. He like, hey, I'm gonna create this because I like your voice, I like your diction, so you're gonna be the sheriff in Bus Stop. So I went to see the original movie, which starred Marilyn Monroe. There's no black guy in there.
Right, yeah.
That was the first one. I played Cobb. Most of the roles are black oriented, or black writers. Been written by Cobb was written by the brother. I played the black baseball player because the black baseball league wasn't given the opportunity to play against the white teams. And when I read the script, I'm gonna play this guy. He's in the Hall of Fame. Oscar. He's a catcher. But when Jackie Robinson was allowed to play, They said, like, he's just one of, there's hundreds of athletes, baseball player better than him. He's just the first one.
Oh, yeah. They were like, we're going to get rich off of this.
Right, right. And Bud, not Buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Black people. Okay, fabulous. I've never, not that it was a wall that I didn't want to do it, but it has to do something with us. And that's all my productions has been like Black productions, or it's been written as a story about us.
That's fantastic. Heck yeah. So it looks like we have, 15 minutes left. Let's spend the last 15 minutes. If you guys want to just say what you're doing right now, what is up, what is coming up for both of you, because you guys are both on a project together.
Oh, yeah.
Any separate projects as well?
Let me take a picture. So.
Yes. So we're pausing to take real live action selfies. Julian, the one and only Julian Van Dyke, has written a number of children's books and illustrated them as well. And I was fortunate enough to have him come to my classroom when I was at Rio. And we took all of these great pictures in front of these murals that he's done. And I was talking about this newest project, Juneteenth, Celebrating Freedom, which he wrote and illustrated. And I still, just gonna put your lips right here. I still wanted you to lend your brilliance to Pipeline. After seeing Pipeline, he saw my beautiful, brilliant, big-headed alien baby son, teenagers. If anybody has a nickel, you can have him for the low, low price of free. But anyway, he wanted Ellison to be a part of this project.
Oh, yeah.
And I worked with Riverwalk and Tom Ferris before, bringing one of Julian's books, The Music We Call Jazz, from page to stage before. And so he was like, oh, I've got an idea. I want to do that again for Juneteenth. So he asked Ellison to write something. And I'm like, Lord have mercy, this child don't do no work. You know, like, he's a freshman in high school. He don't brush his teeth. He don't wash, he don't do nothing. The boy don't do nothing. You want him to write something? So my son, I got to brag on the kid because he's at a band field trip right now. He read the book. He looked at it. And he was like, boom, I got it. And I was like, oh, crap.
He interpreted it.
He interpreted it. And I'm like, and he comes out and he's asking me, so what do you know about Queen Nzinga? I was like, sweet baby Jesus. There is no Queen Nzinga in Juneteenth. And he was like, no, wait. I got you. Just stick with it. And I'm like, okay. It's fantastic.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic. So it will be coming to a stage near you. The books, the writings, the brilliance, the illustrations, the slides, and the media by Julian Van Dyke. Play written by Ellison Hall. Directed by his mama, me, because again, he's still a teenager. The boy don't do nothing, you know.
Oh, man. As we all went through that as young men.
Hold up, you know what?
When does it
I told Ellison
when he turns 30, it'll.
Oh,
I said, I'm gonna be your attorney, meaning that
he gonna need one.
I was attorney for my kids, okay, because when you talk to your mother. Shut your mouth. Don't say nothing.
Right?
Please.
I feel sorry for Ellison.
Send him prayers.
Well,
and
because
wishes.
one, his mom is a teacher. I told them, look, your mother and son, I get that. But you two are artists. And artists can bump his. Didn't I say this? I told Ellison, look, be open to what your mom, there's a mom side, but then there's an artist side of her. Now, the mom side, I'm going to be your attorney. That means that you don't open your mouth in court. Don't say, my attorney, tell me, don't say nothing. I talk for you. So Ellison, don't say nothing. And he's been very good. He's going,
that's good.
He's very humble. Now, when it comes to...
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, right. Plead the fifth. But when it comes to the artist side, this young man wrote it and brought like, here's boom, boom.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, whoa. I like... Yeah, this is what I want. I said, because I didn't want it to be presented in a way like I write my books. The book that is written are for children under 4th grade, and it's written like that, kind of like Dr. Seuss type of rhyme, blah, 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 blah. But it's important, right? But I'm smart enough, ladies and gentlemen. I said, Ellison, and I didn't know he was doing lights for James in the giant piece either, but
He didn't know it either.
we had to put, but anyway, hold up. I'm gonna get his mom. Okay. And she comes in like this, and this, even today. So I love you, Janelle. And the reason I did this, thank you, Julian. Yeah, we got to pump Ellison.
Okay.
And he's going to do some great things. He wrote it in
That's
like 2
amazing.
days. But you have to get the knowledge from the mother,
Yes.
the artistic mother, to guide us. I'm saying us because, like I said before, we're sitting here like, she's like, who's directing this? You or me? I'm like, hold up. And then she say, have you ever been in a musical? She said that because she knows that I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I'm like, girl, no, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I can tell you the things that I like to see, but I need you to help me guide us through this to make us successful.
I got you. Ubuntu. I am because we are.
I am because we are.
Yes. And so please come and support this project, this labor of love.
Yeah.
It is June 29th. We're going to wrap up, the month of Juneteenth. And June is also Black Music Month.
Fantastic.
So,
and I've got an art show next Saturday.
There you go.
I've got these 2 talented young musicians from Okama School. They go to my church. They're going to play at the opening. And I got these 2 young, beautiful young ladies from Southfield. They're very talented and they're artistic. They happen to be related to me. They're 10 years old. They're going to read some poetry next Saturday at 1 o'clock. 1139 South Washington. Rio Town's going to be popping for the month of June because they got events for Father's Day, Juneteenth. They block out the streets for Juneteenth Festival. I'm also going to be at the Lansing Juneteenth Festival in St. Joe Park after I do the reading at the library at 10:30 at the Capillary Library on South Cedar. And then I'll be at the Lansing Juneteenth Festival at St. Joe Park in Lansing. I'm going back to the gallery to sign some books and people look at the art. So
Fantastic. Black excellence, people. You see this? Black folks moving and shaking throughout the city of Lansing, Michigan. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, give a like, subscribe, share this with someone who might be interested. If you are if you have subscribed to the podcast, please check out some of the other episodes that I have. I got 2 other 9 questions episode and many more to come. All right. Thank you guys. Peace out.
see you later.